a mother, a mistress, and a murderer. But who was the mother? Who was the mistress? And lastly, who was the murderer? Let's find out right now. Happy Wicked Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne-Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrollton, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that y'all like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press on that notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. I hope you have a beverage. I hope you have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best. And y'all are ready to hear a true crime story with yours truly. And as always, I want to know, how are y'all doing on this beautiful Wednesday evening? It's beautiful down here in Louisiana. I hope y'all are having an amazing summer so far. And I hope that y'all are going on tons of vacation and making tons of memories with friends and family. And I also want to know, are y'all getting those tickers up? Are y'all drinking y'all water? Are y'all staying hydrated? Remember, just a quick 30 minute walk every day, first thing in the morning, get those endorphins up. You're going to have an amazing day. I promise you, you're going to feel wonderful. And today we are going to be discussing a case that was huge almost 6 years ago. Huge. Netflix came out with a documentary. It was a huge case. And today we are going to be discussing the case that touched my heart so deep, because not only did this happen to two beautiful children, this also happened to a mother that was 15 weeks pregnant. Shanann Watts was born January 10th, 1984 in New Jersey. When Shanann was just a child, her family relocated to North Carolina. Shanann was very sweet, very funny, always a go-getter, very assertive, very sassy, just a sweet extrovert child. And at the age of 25, yes, just 25, Shanann built her own home. And I'm not just talking about any home. I'm talking about a 4,000 square foot, $350,000 home that Shanann put $20,000 cash on. Y'all, she was doing her thing at just 25. Just 25 years old. She had the best furniture in the home. She did everything A-class. She felt wonderful. She worked multiple jobs. She was always hustling. And around this time, Shanann started losing a lot of weight. Her hair was falling out. She felt like she had the flu 24/7. She couldn't figure out what was wrong with her, but she knew something wasn't right. She was weak all the time and couldn't work like she used to. This is when Shanann found out that she had lupus, which is an autoimmune disease. She found the best doctors. She was getting the treatment that she needs. And in 2010, she received a friend request from Christopher Watts, and she accepted. They started talking, they started hanging out. Christopher was good looking, he was sweet, he was charming, he was introvert, he was very shy, where Shanann was more the extrovert. They just clicked, opposites attract. They loved each other dearly. Christopher loved Shanann so much that he attended all her doctor's appointments. He was always there anytime she needed. And when she fell asleep on his lap for 4 hours and didn't move, she knew he was sent from God. She knew that he loved her so much that he never wanted to disturb her. I don't know if a lot of you know about lupus, but you have a hard time sleeping. So when she fell asleep on his lap for 4 hours, he did not move. He did not want to disturb Shanann. And that's when she knew, this is the man I'm going to marry. Chris Watts proposed to Shanann, and on November 3rd, 2012, Chris and Shanann were married. Not long after getting married, Chris and Shanann decided to take a trip to Colorado to see one of Shanann's friends. While they were there, they fell in love with the state, and who wouldn't? Colorado is a beautiful state, beautiful area, wonderful weather. They decided to move to Colorado and built a beautiful, luxurious 5-bedroom home. The home was absolutely stunning. Shanann had impeccable taste. It was a beautiful home. And not long after moving in, Shanann and Chris received some very exciting news. Shanann is pregnant. And on December 17th, 2013, Shanann gives birth to a beautiful baby girl. Bella Marie Watts. She was sweet. She was funny. She was quiet. She was an introvert like Chris. She was nurturing. She looked exactly like her father, Chris, and acted like him as well. Less than 2 years later, on July 17th, 2015, Celeste Catherine Watts was born. They called her Cece. She was pure joy. She was exactly like Shanann. She was sassy. She was always happy. She was a go-getter. She was feisty. She was an extrovert. She was so wonderful and looked exactly like Shanann and acted as her as well. They were just alike. Shanann and Chris were just doing their thing. They had the perfect family. In 2016, Shanann started working for a company called Lavelle, selling vitamin-infused patches, basically weight loss patches. Chris even lost over 50 pounds while wearing these patches. They were doing their thing, and Shanann was a top salesman. She even earned her own car allowance and drove a beautiful white Lexus SUV. She was going all over the world. Chris and Shanann were going to San Diego, New Orleans, Arizona, Punta Cana, all being paid by Lavelle. They were traveling everywhere, and Shanann was getting all these perks because she was a top salesman. Chris said she could even sell ice to an Eskimo. She was a wonderful salesman. Their life was absolutely going the way that they wanted. And on 2018 in June, Chris and Shanann received some more exciting news. Shanann was pregnant with a beautiful baby boy that they were going to name Nico. They were all excited over this beautiful baby boy. Everyone that knew Chris and Shanann said Chris was over the moon in love with Shanann. He doted on her left and right. When she said jump, he said how high. He loved her so much, and he was infatuated with her and his little girls. He was an amazing father. Anyone that you speak to, every single documentary I watched, every book that I have read says the same thing. He was in love with his wife and two little girls, and everyone could see it. Shanann, Bella, and Cece decided to take a 6-week trip to North Carolina. They want to spend the summer with Chris's family and Shanann's family. Chris is unable to attend the entire trip with them as he has to work. He is going to go meet the family at the end of July when he has time off. Shanann, Bella, and Cece go to North Carolina. They're having a blast. They're having fun. But there is a problem. Sweet, loving, doting Chris is being very cold towards Shanann. He's not answering text messages. He's not calling her. He's not home half the time. Shanann can't figure out what is wrong. What is going on? He's very cold and distant. What could have happened? What do you think it is? Yes, Chris Watts is having an affair with 31-year-old Nicole Kessinger. Chris and Nicole met at work. They started talking. They started seeing each other. Chris even made the comment that Nicole took his breath away, and they started spending lots of time together. Chris was living the bachelor life. Shanann and the girls were in North Carolina. He had the whole house to himself. He can come and go as he pleases. He and Nikki were having sex 3-4 times a day. He was sending her flowers, confessing his love to her, just going like a crazy teenager. He was in love with Nikki. Chris told Nicole that he was going through a separation. He was still married. He and Shanann were selling the house. They didn't love each other anymore. And Chris told Nicole that Shanann wanted the divorce more than he did. Nicole believed everything. She thought all of this was true. She loved Chris. She was over the moon in love with Chris. She was even looking up wedding dresses. With just weeks of them dating, they were very serious about each other. But Shanann was back in North Carolina wondering what is wrong, what is going on. Shanann stated to her friends that before she left, Chris couldn't keep his hands off of her. He was in love with her, sometimes sneaking off to make love in different parts of the houses, just having fun and being in love like a husband and wife should be. But while she was in North Carolina, he wouldn't even call her. He wouldn't even call the children, wouldn't FaceTime, nothing. He was absolutely distanced from Shanann. And this whole time, Nicole Kessinger thought that he was getting a divorce, that he was separated. But even though she states that, and even though Chris told her that, and I do believe that Chris did tell her he was going through a separation, divorce, whatever. Nicole said that while Chris was at her house, that Chris would sometimes have to step outside or hurry up and go home to call Shanann on FaceTime. If you're going through a divorce and a separation, why would you have to rush home or leave somebody's house to call the person you're getting divorced? That doesn't make sense, right? Something was fishy. And in my opinion, in the back of Nicole Kessinger's mind, she knew that Chris Watts was not going to leave his wife and his children for her. On July 31st, Chris flies to North Carolina to meet Shanann and the girls. Shanann and the girls are very excited. Shanann even makes a video of Chris coming down the escalator and the girls running up to their dad. He gives them kisses and hugs. But you could tell, after not seeing his wife for 6 weeks, Chris is not excited. He kind of looks at her up and down. If you watch Netflix, a documentary, you can see. He kind of looks at her up and down and just doesn't seem excited to see his wife. He does seem excited to see the children, but not his wife. Shanann says she had to beg him for a kiss at the airport, that he didn't want to hold her hand, he didn't want to cuddle, he didn't want to snuggle. She couldn't figure out what was wrong because, like I said earlier, Shanann stated that before she left for North Carolina, Chris couldn't keep his hands off of her. So don't you think when he would see Shanann, he would just want to rip her clothes off and make passionate love to his beautiful pregnant wife? Oh no, Shanann said she even asked for sex, and he said, no, not right now. And as a woman, we all know when your partner starts cheating on you. We know something isn't right, especially when you ask your partner for sex and he denies you and says not now, but just 6 weeks early, he couldn't keep his hands off of you. That doesn't seem right. Something was wrong. And Shanann knew something was wrong. She was devastated, wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping, had migraines. She was heartbroken because she felt like she was losing her husband. But what was wrong? In the meantime, Chris is texting Nicole Kessinger, sending her nude pictures. She's sending him nude pictures. He's disguising these nude pictures in an app that looks like a calculator. She's looking up stuff online, stuff like when is it too quick to tell somebody we love each other? She was looking up stuff like, will my partner leave his wife for me? Let me pause right there. If your man is telling you that he's going through a divorce and he's doing all this separation, why are you Googling, is my partner going to leave his wife for me? And another thing, if you're going through a divorce, why are you vacationing with your wife? A third thing, he was telling Nicole while he was in North Carolina how much he loved her, texting her, I love you, I miss you. Nicole said that she was responding with, don't tell me you love me when you're on vacation with your wife. I thought he was going through a divorce, thought he was going through a separation. Why are you saying those words? Chris also told Nicole, according to Nicole, but in my opinion, Nicole Kessinger's a liar. Chris told Nicole that while they were in North Carolina, he kept trying to make it work, kept trying to build a relationship with Shanann. But Shanann was through. Shanann was done. Shanann didn't even want to be around him. She wanted to separate more than he did. The whole thing is so crazy and weird. But if you think your man is getting a divorce, none of this makes sense, right? None of this makes sense. If y'all get a divorce, why are you over there trying to be with her and trying to make it work? Red flag. Shanann was absolutely heartbroken at this point. She couldn't figure out what was wrong. Chris gave her no hugs, no kisses, no making love, nothing. Chris and Shanann were supposed to have a gender reveal party to tell their friends they were having a beautiful baby boy. But Shanann canceled that gender reveal party because Chris was being so distant. She didn't think that it was right to have this party. Chris was acting very strange, very funny. Shanann thought something was wrong with her. What did she do wrong? What didn't she do wrong? What could she do to save her marriage? What was going on? She purchased self-help books. She told Chris, let's go to counseling. She wrote him a letter confessing her love to him. She was trying everything she could to save their marriage. Chris even stated to Shanann that he was happy with Bella and Cece and was very, and was very afraid to have this new baby. But Shanann assured him everything was going to work out just fine. He was an amazing father. I watched the videos. I've seen the interviews with people. Everyone stated that Chris was a great father and he was going to finally have this beautiful baby boy. Shanann thought that the family was complete, but it wasn't complete. Chris just wasn't happy about anything. Shanann did entertain the thought. Maybe he has someone else. Maybe there's another woman. But several friends and family said, Shanann, I'm going to put your mind at ease. There is no way there is another woman. This man is crazy in love with you. He loves you. He loves you so much more than anything. People were actually jealous of how well Shanann and Chris treated each other. They loved each other so much. But Chris was having an affair with Nicole Kessinger and he couldn't stop seeing her no matter what. He was in love with Nicole Kessinger. But in my opinion, it wasn't love. Chris was infatuated with Nicole. And in my opinion, I think that it was just a fast track to love, and Chris was just had all this lust for Nicole. He was living this bachelor life. He can do whatever he wanted. He was free to come and go as he pleases. But now that Shanann was back from North Carolina, he couldn't do any of that anymore. Chris is the one that talked Shanann into having a third baby. Shanann didn't know if she wanted a third baby, but Chris did talk her into it, and they agreed to have baby number 3. And they were both overjoyed that it was a beautiful baby boy. But Shanann was all kinds of confused because now Chris was saying he doesn't know if he wanted a third child. And in the meantime, Chris is telling Nicole Kessinger the house is going up for sale. Nicole's helping Chris find an apartment close to the girls' daycare. Chris is telling Nicole that Shanann wants the divorce now, right away. She wants to be done with Chris. She doesn't even want to talk to Chris. Chris is sleeping downstairs in the basement. They don't even talk or see each other. The marriage is completely done. In the meantime, on August 9th, Shanann has a work trip planned to Arizona that she is taking. Shanann leaves on August 9th for Arizona, leaving the kids, Bella and Cece, with Chris. During the weekend, Chris takes the girls to a birthday party, but he's still not really talking or texting Shanann. Shanann tells friends, y'all, he's still very distant. He's not calling me. He's not texting me. He's not telling me he loves me. Shanann even said that while they were on the phone, he starts working out. If you're on the phone with your pregnant wife and y'all are talking and it's the end of the night, why would you start working out while you're on the phone with her? Shanann receives an alert on her phone that $70 was spent at the Lazy Dog. When she confronted Chris about the charge, he said that it was just him alone at the Lazy Dog and he had a beer and salmon. When Shanann checked the menu, a beer and salmon was not $70. So where did the other $40 go? Shanann even told her friends, could there be another woman? But she kind of put that to rest and said, y'all, Chris has no game. There's no way he has another woman. There's no way. But why was there this $70 charge? In my opinion, in the back of Shanann's mind, she knew her husband had another woman. She could feel it. She knew something wasn't right. He was barely speaking to her, barely talking to her, but telling her, I'm sorry, I love you when she would confront him. But all while telling Nicole Kessinger, the house is up for sale. I don't love Shanann. She doesn't love me. The marriage is done. We're done forever. Nicole Kessinger had no clue that they were still in a happy marriage, and Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant. Shanann's flight is delayed coming home from Arizona. Shanann's best friend, Nicole Atkinson, drops off Shanann at her home around 1:45 a.m. Monday, August 13th, 2018. Nicole watches Shanann walk into the house. She unlocks the door. She walks in and closes the door. Before Shanann steps out of Nicole Atkinson's vehicle, she says, hey, let me know if you need anything in the morning. I'm here if you need any type of help. Shanann says, okay. By the next day, Nicole Atkinson is texting Shanann, calling all Shanann's friends saying, have y'all heard from Shanann? Shanann was a social media maven. She loved social media. She posted all day, every day, first thing in the morning. Nicole Atkinson knew something was wrong when Shanann didn't even post on social media. Nicole was so worried that she drove to Shanann's doctor's appointment. Shanann had a doctor's appointment that morning at 9:30 a.m. and nothing was going to stop Shanann from going to that appointment because over the weekend, while in Arizona, Shanann wasn't eating, drinking, nothing. Her friends even stated that they were trying to force food and water down her throat. She would not eat. But when Nicole found out that she did not go to that doctor's appointment, she called Chris. Chris said, "Oh, don't worry about anything. Shanann took the kids on a play date." Nicole said, "No, Chris. Shanann's vehicle's here. The girl's car seats are here. Her shoes that she wears every day are here. Shanann didn't leave the house. Where is she?" Nicole called the police. The police came to do a welfare check on Shanann. They were worried that she was passed out in the home, that the girls weren't there or they were hurt, something was wrong. The police could not get into the house. Chris shows up like it's nothing. "Oh yeah, go in the house," whatever. Doesn't call her name, nothing. Walks in, nothing. The weird thing is he walks in the house, Chris does. He opens the garage door, opens Shanann's passenger door of a car, grabs something and keeps walking. I have no clue what he grabbed. No clue at all what he took out of Shanann's car. Everyone is frantic. Everyone is looking for Shanann. Nikki's going room to room while on the phone with Shanann's mom. Everyone is worried. Chris says that he's been calling her or texted her, nothing. They locate Shanann's phone, which is turned off, inside of the couch. Chris also locates Shanann's wedding ring, which is left inside of the bed, but no signs of Shanann, Bella, or Cece. The neighbor next door to Chris and Shanann's house says, "Hey, I have a video camera. Maybe she left. Maybe we can see something." Cops and Chris watch the camera. Chris is looking around, looking at his phone, putting his hands behind his head, looks extremely nervous, and doesn't really look at the camera. In my opinion, if I was that parent, my eyes wouldn't have left that screen. But absolutely nothing was seen on that camera. All that was seen was Chris leaving for work. So did Shanann, Bella, and Cece just vanish in the thin air? No one is seen picking them up. No camera sees them leaving the house. Nothing is wrong at all. But Chris backs up his truck into that garage, which he has never done, and loads up that truck for several minutes. What was Christopher Watts doing? They also knew something was wrong when Shanann's medicine is still there, Bella's medicine is still there, Cece's medicine is still there, Shanann's purse is still there, her car, her keys. Shanann left with nothing. She left with absolutely nothing. No car, no keys, no medicine, no money, no phone. Where was Shanann and those two beautiful, precious baby girls? Chris is telling Shanann's best friend, Nicole Atkinson, that he and Shanann are getting a divorce and they are separating and selling the house. Nicole Atkinson states to Chris, "I don't care what you're doing with your personal life. That's between you and Shanann, but your wife is missing and your two little girls, and we have to locate them." Chris is telling people that he and Shanann got in this argument, this disagreement, and then she probably left him, left the wedding ring, and left and went off somewhere. But even if a woman is going to leave her husband, she would not walk out of the house with no car, no keys, no phone, no money, no medicine, no purse, nothing. No clothes for the kids, no car seats, absolutely nothing. Everyone knew that wasn't right. It's like Shanann and the girls just vanished into thin air. No one seen them leave. No one knew where they were. Where were they? On August 14th, Chris pleads on live television to please find his wife and his two beautiful baby girls. He wanted his family located as soon as possible. But he tells the reporters that he and Shanann didn't have an argument. They had an emotional conversation. He was going to leave it at that. That is strange to me. And while he's giving that interview, his arms are crossed. And I don't know if y'all know I know everything about true crime. I pretend it's like I think I know everything. But when a person crosses their arms and is very held tight in that manner, it's like they're closed off. They're hiding something. They're worried about something. And that's how he stood in front of the cameras, asking the world to locate his beautiful pregnant wife and his 2 beautiful baby girls. The next day, on August 15th, Chris agreed to take a lie detector test and fails it miserably. The cops knew Chris had something to do with this with this disappearance of his wife and 2 little girls, but they needed a confession. They needed to know what was wrong. The cops decided to play good cop, bad cops and said, Chris, did Shanann do something to the kids and you're trying to cover it up for her? What happened? Chicks are crazy. What happened? What's wrong? What did Shanann do? Yo, Chris says, I need to speak to my father, Ronnie, who's waiting outside. The cops allow Ronnie to come in and speak to Chris, and Chris confesses to his father everything. He tells his father that he saw Shanann strangling the children, and when he noticed the girls were dead with no pulse, he said that he did the same exact thing to Shanann. He strangled Shanann. He left the house with the 3 bodies. He took Shanann, buried her in a shallow grave. His beautiful pregnant wife, buried her in a shallow grave. Then he took, y'all just give me a second because this is like really hard for me. He then took 3-year-old Cece and 4-year-old Bella in his truck, smothered both of them with their favorite blankets. And before Bella was smothered, she says, Daddy, you're not going to do the same thing that you did to Cece to me, are you? And screamed, Daddy, no, and smothered her. Took their 2 tiny little bodies and put them in an 8-inch hole, stuffed their bodies in there, dropping them into crude oil and 2 separate oil tanks. These 2 beautiful baby girls that were his, he stuffed their little bodies into an 8-inch hole, dropping them both into crude oil. He killed both these little girls. He states that Shanann killed the girls, and he panicked and he went bury Shanann, and to cover up and to protect Shanann, that he was going to just get rid of the whole family, that no one was ever going to find these 3 bodies. But the cops knew that was a lie. The cops knew that was wrong. This is clearly the work of a devil. This is clearly the work of a monster. This is absolutely horrible, horrific, horrendous. This is the worst case ever. This breaks my heart beyond words. I can't even describe how much this affected the entire nation, not just the family, but everyone was heartbroken over this case. And on the next day, August 16th, rescuers and the recovery crew recover the bodies. 34-year-old, 15-week pregnant Shanann Watts is found in a shallow grave, a couple of yards away from Shanann's body. The 2 little girls are recovered, 3-year-old Cece and 4-year-old Bella. And as the recovery crew was retrieving their little bitty bodies, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm trying here. As they were taking them out of these oil tanks, their skin was coming off of their body. Their skin was falling off. I cannot even imagine. I could not even imagine what this rescue team was going through, what they went through, what they saw. My heart goes out to them so much, and my heart goes out to the family to know that this is how these people were found. And Chris said that Shanann just murdered the children, so he murdered Shanann. So Shanann did all this, and to protect Shanann, to cover for her, he stated that he wanted to get rid of everybody. Just get rid of everybody and pretend like it didn't happen. But the cops knew better. The cops knew that wasn't right. The cops knew Chris murdered everybody. And on this same day, August 16th, Chris is denied bond. And his girlfriend, Nicole Kessinger, on this same day, August 16th, comes forward to the police stating that she had no clue that Shanann was pregnant, had no clue that he was living this second lifestyle, this double life. She had no clue of anything. And she believes that Chris was going crazy before he even met her. But in my opinion, I think Nicole Kessinger knows a lot more than what she says. That's just my personal opinion. But the cops, they don't arrest her. They interview her. They believe in their mind she had nothing to do with it. And she may have. Nothing. But something wasn't right. I don't believe her. I think she's a liar. She lied about a lot, but we're not even going to get into that. She was interviewed several times and told everything. She even turned over her phone. Just everything. She said, here you go. Nobody had to make her. She was like, I had nothing to do with this. Take everything y'all need. And on August 21st, 2018, Chris Watts was charged with 3 counts of murder. On November 6, 2018, Chris Watts pleads guilty to all 9 counts. And on November 19, 2018, Chris Watts receives life in prison without the possibility of parole. He's going to jail for the rest of his life, which he should be. But on February 18th, 2019, FBI comes to do an interview with Chris Watts, and he confesses to everything. Yes, everything. He confesses to killing his wife, and he confesses to killing his 2 beautiful baby girls. And I'm going to describe what happened that night. Chris states that Shanann came home, touched his leg. They started making love. They had sex. He woke her up before he left for work around 5:15 a.m. He told her that he was having an affair and he wanted a divorce and he didn't love her anymore. He said they both started crying. Shanann becomes irate, which any person would, I know I would, and says, you'll never see your children again. Chris says he grew into a rage and he strangled Shanann. He then took Shanann's body and put it in the floor of his truck. He grabbed his 2 little baby girls, put them in his truck. They both asked, how's mommy doing? They said, she's fine. We're going to take her to the doctor. She's sick. Their feet were just dangling while their mommy was on the floor wrapped up in a sheet. He drove 45 minutes to a work site where he buried 34-year-old Shanann, and while she was 15 weeks pregnant, to baby Nico. He then went to his vehicle. He grabbed the girls' favorite blankets and smothered them one by one. He loaded both of them up. He pushed them down the 8-inch hole, dropped them into crude oil. An autopsy shows that Bella fought for her life. There were signs that she struggled. My heart just goes out to this family, y'all. My heart goes out to all of the people that are involved in this. But Chris did admit to everything, and he did clear Shanann's name, which is a good thing, even though he's a monster, even though he deserves everything worse in life. I mean, just the thought of his name just sickens me. It absolutely sickens me. And all for what? You're going to drop your kids in crude oil and murder them for a woman? For a woman? These are 2 beautiful baby girls, and they did not deserve any of that. But Chris is exactly where he needs to be, in jail. And I hope that he thinks about what he did every single day and that it haunts him. It is said that he still has Shanann and the girls' pictures in his cell. Do I believe that? Yes. Do I believe that Chris went into a rage that morning? Yes. I just feel that this was a horrible murder, a horrible thing that happened. For another woman, you don't murder your entire family for another woman. You don't do that. You don't murder anyone for anything, much as anyone. It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible tragedy. And I hope that Shanann, Nico, Bella, and Cece are resting in peace. My final thought, you know, I always come to y'all with my final thought. My final thought is I think that Chris knew he could not live this double life any longer. He knew it was over. It was done with. Shanann was home from North Carolina. He used to see Nicole Kessinger every single day, have sex 3-4 times a day. They would talk all the time. They would see each other at work. He knew he had to end this with Nicole Kessinger because Shanann was not going to allow him to just be gone 24/7 like he was when she was in North Carolina. So he said to himself, I have two choices. I either break things off with Nicole Kessinger and move on with my wife and my two beautiful little girls and my soon-to-be here son, Nico, or I divorce Shanann, sell everything, have joint custody of my kids, and be with Nicole Kessinger. But he didn't choose either one of those options. He decided the easiest thing for him was to murder his entire family, get rid of them, wipe them away, and start a brand new life with Nicole Kessinger. No kids, no ex-wife, no debt, no house, nothing. He wanted completely out. So he took that choice. He took the wrong path. And he even says it now. He doesn't know why he did it. He doesn't know what happened because he goes from a father telling princess stories and playing games with the girls and loving the girls and loving his wife in a matter of 6 weeks, throwing all of that away for a woman. A woman. How does this happen? How do you become that infatuated with a woman? You're going to throw away 8 years that you've been with your wife for 6 weeks of meeting a new woman? It is not worth it. It is so not worth it. But he did that. He threw away everything, murdered his entire family for another woman, and is now rotting away in jail. In my opinion, he is exactly where he needs to be. And I hope nothing but the worst for him. I hope that Shanann's family, her mother Sandy, her dad Frank, and her brother Frankie are remembering all the good, precious memories they had with Shanann, Bella, and Cece, and they were remembering the good times they had. And my heart goes out to all of the people involved in this case. I hope that y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope that y'all like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press on that notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. I want y'all to always stay safe. Always, always, always be aware of your surroundings because you never know who's around. And as always, anything y'all need, y'all can always message me, email me, and drop some requests down in the comments below because I love when y'all send me requests. It helps me. Y'all tell me exactly what y'all want to hear, and that's what I like. And I want to thank y'all all for watching all my videos, loving my content, commenting, liking. I love it all. And without y'all, I couldn't be here. And for y'all, I am truly grateful. I love you all, and I hope y'all have an amazing Wednesday evening. And I will see y'all tomorrow night with another crazy case. And I'm going to give y'all a hint. His name is also Chris. See y'all tomorrow night. Bye.